Hello, welcome to La Excellence. In this video, we'll discuss the recent Nobel Prizes including physics, chemistry, medicine, peace and economy. We'll be leaving out literature as this was not accorded this year. This is the table showing all the 6 areas. Here, literature got postponed and it will be given next year along with the 2019 Nobel Literature. Now, medicine. Who have got this? What is their area? And what is the application of that particular technology? We should know all these 4 components. For our mains examination, we should focus on this and on this. Here, from this area, that means application area, prelims questions can also be asked. So, for our science and technology, let us see the technologies in medicine, physics, and chemistry, and in our economy their findings can be asked as a mains question. So economy. Peace, this can be used in our GS papers as well as in our essay. So let's see the applications and how to approach all these technologies. The first one to discuss is Nobel Prize in Physics. Here this award is given for these 3 people, and for him Arthur Ashkin. For him the award was being given for developing optical tweezers and explaining their applications in the biological systems. And for these 2 people the award was given for their method of generating high intensity and ultra short optical pulses. Here we should address and we should understand what is this laser technology. 2. What are the applications of the laser technologies that they have developed? These 2 we should see. Let us understanding the fundamentals of lasers. What is laser? Laser has an abbreviation. It is an acronym. What is this acronym? Light amplification by simulated emission of radiation. LASER. This is laser. To understand this, we should understand what is this light and what does this consist of. Light is a form of energy that is emitted by a source and it travels through waves in the form of waves. In general, the sunlight that we experience, that is white in color, and in fact this is not white in color, it consists of 7 colors. All these 7 colors, they have different wavelengths. One is this, one like this, different wavelengths. When we mix all these colors, 7 colors are known as VIBGYOR. VIBGYOR is acronym for all the 7 colors. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. These are placed based on their wavelength. For red color, wavelength is more. Wavelength means the difference between the peak of this and this. This is known as wavelength. The wavelength of R is more as compared to yellow or blue or green or violet. So this is natural light. Now what is laser? Laser is a form of light which is not emitted through the natural source, but it is artificially created by an artificial device. We create this light and we make all the wavelengths or all the components in the light to be in the same wavelength, because of which a small narrow wave can be created. A smaller narrow wave can be created and transmitted through longer distances. And the device that is used to create this artificial light towards a particular direction is known as laser technique and laser device. Now, we should see the applications of lasers. Lasers are used in different fields including medicine, industries, electronic equipment or electronic manufacturing, computers, etc. In medicine, the prominent example is LASIK eye surgery. What is this LASIK eye surgery and how this particular thing is used? Here, laser is used to correct the eyesight through LASIK surgery. Likewise, in industry, if we take this particular light beam is very powerful. So, in industry, it is used to cut some kind of diamonds, or if we take barcode, what is this? Here also, this laser is used. So, likewise, in industry, many applications are there. In electronic manufacturing, for example, DVDs, CDs, to read the information stored in this particular thing, lasers are used. Likewise, there are many applications. Now, the first person has discovered optical tweezers. Optical tweezers means using optics based on laser technology. These are used as cutting tools, tweezers, in the biological systems. The second set of people, they have developed the ultra short laser pulses. What is the advantage of ultra short laser pulses? If the wavelength is very short, they are very powerful and they can reach with high speeds. So they have found out this ultra speed laser technology. Because of that, we have different applications in the industry. And optical tweezers, in the field of medicine, physiology, we have different applications. Next is Nobel Prize in Chemistry. This year, 3 people got Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Arnold Grigor, she got Nobel Prize for discovering the directed evolution of enzymes. These 2 people, they got the prize because of discovery of phase display of peptides and antibodies. We should understand what is this enzyme and what is this phase display and how these are involved in different applications. Now, we should understand what is this enzyme and why these are important. If we study our evolution of life on the earth 3.9 billion years ago, how does life formed on the earth? First, there are certain proteins that were formed. These proteins, they act upon some chemical reaction. When this protein participates in the chemical reaction, that agent, that protein is known as enzyme. Enzyme is the chemical agent that accelerates, means that speeds up the chemical process. That's why these are called catalysts. Now, what are the applications of these enzymes? Enzymes are chemical catalysts. These are used in different fields, including medicine, industries, and all other areas where chemical reaction is necessary. Now, the first scientist, she has discovered the evolution of these enzymes. With that, it was possible to create such enzymes in huge quantity. Because of this, in many fields, we were able to use these enzymes. For example, biofuels, pharmaceutical industry, biofuels, pharmaceutics, means in medicine, renewable energy, in all these sectors, these enzymes and this particular discovery was very, very useful, powerful. Now, the second set of scientists, they have used phase display technique. What is this phase? Phase in general means the one that kills. Here, they have created bacteriophage. What is this bacteriophage? It's a kind of virus that kills the bacteria. Bacteriophages were created and they were introduced. When these are introduced in the cells, then the system tends to produce the proteins which are known as antibodies. Antibodies to fight against this particular bacteriophages. Now, in this way, artificially these antibodies are created and these bacteriophages are introduced in whatever cell they wanted to. Let's say in cancerous cell, this is introduced. Then the antibodies that fight against these cells, they are produced. These are artificially synthesized and used in treatment and to produce different medicines in the field of medicine. That's why in the field of chemics, this Nobel Prize is given collectively for finding the evolutionary paths of these chemical agents. These three people they have got for finding evolutionary pathways of enzymes, the first person, and the other two persons for finding the evolution of antibodies and their process and using this to produce such kind of new developments. The next Nobel Prize is in physiology or medicine. Here, the Nobel Prize is awarded to two people, James P. Ellison and Tsuku Honjo. These two people, they have got this Nobel Prize for understanding and discovering the cancer therapy by inhibition of negative immune regulation. We should understand what is this negative immunity regulation and how by inhibiting this cancer therapy can be discovered. For this we should understand how our immune system works. Immune system, it works based on particular memory. Inherently we have certain immune memory. We call any material that is coming from outside or antigens. And we have fighting agents called antibodies to fight against these antigens. Now, in our body, we have antibody for each of the antigen. If the antigen is new and if we don't have the antibodies, and we will suffer with that particular disease. Or if we have antibodies for that particular antigen or pathogen, then the antibody system will fight against it, will not fall for that particular disease. This is how our immune system works. But then, let us say this is one cell and a group of cells are there. For this particular cell, this cell acts as antigen and this cell try to fight it through its antibodies. Then this entire cells, these two cells gets destroyed. This antibody also try to fight with this. To address this, inherently we have certain immune repressors. Immune repressor means for certain antigens, this repressing agents will work. Means they will inhibit. Inhibit means prohibit or stop. They will inhibit this antibodies to work on certain kind of cells. Now, how does this is impacting the cancers? Now, we should understand what is a cancer. Each cell has its regeneration capacity. Cell divides. Then again this cell divides and gives new cell. Likewise, cell division happens. Cancer is a condition wherein this cell division is not controlled. It means uncontrolled cell division is known as cancer. Uncontrolled cell division is known as cancer and this affects us. Now, why are we having uncontrolled cell division? If we have uncontrolled cell division, why can't the immunity system repress it? This is the question. Why? Why? Because we have inherent inbuilt inhabitants, repressors that are placed on each cell. Now, these people, they have found out certain immunity repressors and they identified the antibodies for those immunity repressors. Now, these antibodies, they will fight against these immunity repressors and this will not act upon it. So, we can control this. This uncontrolled cell division can be controlled when we introduce these antibodies. The first scientist, he has discovered CTLA4. This is one of the molecule that is placed on T cell. In our immunity cells, T cell is one type of cell. On T cell, this particular molecule CTLA4 is located. And this particular cell, this particular molecule acts as inhibitor of this particular immunity system. Now this particular person found out this and by going for antibody for this CTLA4, we can have controlled division of cell. That means we can have cancer therapy. The second scientist, he has found out PD-1. This is also one of the molecule that is located on the T cells. This also acts as inhibitor or brake for the immunity system. So he identified this, one other person identified this. Now, by developing antibodies to these two, anti-CTLA4 and anti-PD1, by developing these two antibodies, we have got cancer therapy which is not invasive. We are not introducing anything from outside. We are not using any chemical. We are just removing this barrier, removing this particular break, and the system itself cure this particular cancer. What is the significance of this discovery? If we see, in the developed countries, 1 out of every 3 persons, they are suffering with some kind of cancer. There are different kinds of cancers, some kind of cancer. In the next 30-40 years, even in the developing countries, and if we observe worldwide, 1 out of 2 can suffer with cancers. If we have such efficient and non-invasive technologies to treat cancer, it would be a great help in the field of medicine. For this discovery, these 2 people are awarded with the Nobel Prize. The next is Nobel Peace Prize. This prize is awarded to 2 people, Denis Mukwege and Nadia Murad. These 2 people for courageously combating war crimes and seeking justice for victims. This person belongs to DRC Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. She belongs to Iraq. Here if we observe, DRC Congo is a Central African country where ethnic clashes are more. Whenever there are ethnic clashes, one group used to abduct the women of other group, and they are making these women as sex slaves. Here also, in the Iraq region, there are people known as Yazidis. These people are part of Kurdish sect. These are Kurdish people. Yazidi is the religion of those people. During ISIS invasion, ISIS, they have occupied different regions in Iraq, Syria, etc. When they occupied this region, they have killed the men in this particular community, Yazidi community, and enslaved the women, young women, as sex slaves. And in this particular area, the person that we have seen, he worked as a doctor and he treated so many of these women and girl children, and recognizing his contribution, Nobel Peace was awarded. Here, Nadia Murad, she was a sex slave and she escaped from the grip of this ISIS and she went to Germany now, and she is working as an activist who is vehemently opposing such kind of activities, and she is a UN ambassador also. Now she is also being awarded with the Nobel Peace Prize. And the last Nobel Prize is in the economic sciences. Here, these 2 people were awarded with the Nobel Prize for integrating the innovation and the climate with the economic growth. In economy, we have 2 models, microeconomic model and macroeconomic model. These 2 people, they have worked on macroeconomic model, long-term economic models on a huge scale, and integrated 1, innovation, 2, climate and its concerns with the economic growth of a country. Here, the first person, William Northouse, he has integrated the climate and environment with the economic growth. He says, when the climate and environment are taken into the account, then only in a sustainable way economy can be developed. Sustainable economy can only be available when there is concern of the climate in the economic growth. He has also advocated for green tax. Green tax means for using the resources, natural resources, certain kind of tax should be imposed for regulating the exploitation of natural resources. For his contribution in the macroeconomy, Nobel Economy was awarded. And for the second person, he says, innovation is very important for this sustainable growth. This innovation should focus on the domestic issues. Domestic issues and domestic market should be understood for the sustainable economy over a long period of time. For his model, he has gathered data For this macroeconomic model, he has awarded with the Nobel Economy. Other than these, for our Group 1, Group 2, if you are preparing for State Services Exam, we should know certain factual data like when was this Nobel Prize first time awarded and why these Nobel Prizes were awarded and what are all fields in which these Nobel Prizes, what fields these Nobel Prizes are awarded. All these factual data we should note down for our state services. Otherwise, for our civil services examination, whatever we have discussed the area, the people, and the applications of the technology or the discovery made by them. That is enough. If we are writing the state services exam along with them, we should also note down this particular factual information which you can find in the Nobel.org. This is the official website of Nobel Prize, this Nobel Committee. So you can go to this website and search for the data. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you very much.